Good morning and welcome back to Rocco Baby Crochet. In this tutorial we're going to be making these lovely little bunny cream egg or chocolate egg covers. This is the last little thing that we're making to go into the Easter basket, so if you've followed through so far, well done. The next video is going to be the basket itself, so you're nearly there, we've nearly finished. So for this pink one, this is James Brett Twinkle, and I've also got, I'm going to make another one in James Brett Twinkle in purple. So what you're going to need is some double knit yarn. I've got the purple twinkle, a little bit of cotton thread just to do the nose and smiley face, a little bit of black embroidery thread just to do the eyes with. I've already gone ahead and made my pom-pom maker. Now I've used the smallest one I had in my set and I cut it right down so it's really small. If you're doing that, you want to just take your time just so you don't cut through the yarn that's holding it, pulling it all together. You're going to need an embroidery needle, a stitch marker, and for this project we are using a 2.5mm crochet hook. So it's really simple to make, really quick to make, so I'll just move everything out of the way and then we'll get going. So to make the top of the bunny head, we're going to start off and we're going to make a magic ring. If you've made the chick cream egg covers, obviously the body is just the same. So you wrap the yarn around, hold the loose end there between your thumb and fingers, wrap it round, making the X shape, pull it back down and up, hold on to all of the loose ends there, turn your fingers over, pop your hook underneath this first loop, pull through the back loop, twist your hook up, and then grab back onto the back loop and pull it through. Doesn't want to come through. There we go, we've got it. So double knit yarn, they recommend a 4mm crochet hook, so it may be just a little bit fiddly, more fiddly, especially to do the magic ring, but just take your time, have a little bit of patience with it. Pull the loose end to a manageable size for you to work around, and don't forget you want to be working around this loose end and also the magic ring, so when you pull it together at the end it all comes nicely together. So we're going to be working in the spiral, so we're not going to be doing any chains up at the end of each round. We're just going to be using a stitch marker to show us where our first stitch is. So for this first round we're going to do 6 double crochets, that's UK terminology. American terminology, that's 6 single crochets around this magic ring. So there's one. So you just pop in your hook into the center of your magic ring, underneath the ring itself and the loose end, yarn over and pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through 2, and you want to do that 6 times. Use a stitch marker so you know exactly where your first stitch is for when you get back round to the other side. It's handy. So we've got 2, 3, 4, 5, and our last one, 6. So then you want to pull on this loose end here to bring your magic ring together. And what we're going to do for round 2 is going to be an increasing round. So in each of these 6 stitches that we've just made, we're going to place 2 double crochets into each one. So in total at the end of round 2 we're going to have 12 stitches going all the way around. So you could just go straight underneath the top loops of your very first stitch of round 1, yarn over and pull up a loop, yarn over and take off both the loops on your hook, and you're going to do that twice into every stitch. So there's my first stitch. Don't forget, pop your stitch marker back in, then we don't lose track. 2 into the next one, and 2 into every stitch all the way around. So if you want to hit pause, and when you finish that, I'll meet you back at my stitch marker. I've completed round 2 and I've got my 12 stitches going all the way around. So round 3 is a really simple round. All we want to be doing in round 3 is placing 1 double crochet into the top of every stitch going all the way around. So round 3, you're going to have a total of 12 double crochets going around. So insert your hook, yarn over and pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through both loops on the hook. And you move into your next stitch and place 1 there. Pop your stitch marker into your first one, and then you know where the beginning of the round is. And continue to do that all the way around for a total of 12 stitches. So once you've completed round 3, if you want to pause the video, and I'll meet you back when I'm at my stitch marker. I've just completed round 3 and I've got my 12 double crochets going all the way around. You'll notice now that your rabbit is starting to turn up. So this here with the loose end, that's the inside of the rabbit. So it's easier if you just turn it like that and you're working with the outside pointing towards yourself. It's easier to get your hook into the top of the next stitches. Round 4 is going to be an increasing round. So the round repeat is going to be 1 double crochet into this first stitch, and then the second stitch is going to be an increase. So we're going to place 2 into that one, 1 into the next one, 2 into the next one, and we're going to do that. We're going to get a total in this round of 18 stitches. So we're doing that round repeat 6 times. So I'll do the first one with you. So insert your hook into your first stitch, yarn over and pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through 2, and then into the second stitch is our increase. So insert your hook, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through both loops, and then to make the increase, insert your hook back into the same stitch, yarn over and pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through 2. So then pop your stitch marker back into your first stitch. So for me I've done 3, so I'll go down 3 stitches and place my stitch marker. So we'll do it one more time. So my next one is 1 double crochet. So my next stitch, I need to put 2 double crochets into that one. So you're just alternating 1 stitch and then an increase into the next all the way around, and I'll meet you back at my stitch marker. I've just completed round 4 and I've got my 18 stitches. If you followed the round repeat correctly, you should be ending on this last stitch as an increasing stitch, so you should have been placing 2 into there. Good idea just to count back, just to make sure that you've got the 18 stitches going all the way around. So you're counting these V's. Each one of those V's is a stitch. Round 5 is a really easy round for us. Just pop my stitch marker out, and all we're doing for round 5 is placing 1 double crochet into every stitch all the way around for a total of 18 stitches. So that's 1, 2, replace your stitch marker and continue to place 1 double crochet into each stitch for a total of 18 stitches, and I'll meet you back when I've completed the round. I've just placed my last stitch into round 5. Round 6 we're going to do another increasing round. So this is the last increase of this little project. So we want to go from 18 stitches to 24 stitches. The round repeat is going to be 1 double crochet into this stitch, 1 into the next stitch, and then your third stitch is going to be your increase where you place in 2, and you're going to repeat that round repeat 6 times, and in total that'll give us 24 stitches. So into the top of this first stitch here, we're going to place 1 double crochet, the second stitch along, another double crochet, and the third stitch along, you're going to place your increase and pop 2 double crochets into that one. So just keep a track. So I've done 4 stitches, so I'll count 4 back, 1, 2, 3, 4, and that's where I need to place my stitch marker, just to show me where the beginning of the round is. So another round repeat, so it's 1 double crochet, another double crochet into the next stitch, and into the third stitch I'm going to do my increase and place 2 double crochets into that, and you're just going to repeat that round repeat another 4 times, so 6 times in total of 24 stitches. So I'll meet you back when I've completed this round. Just place my last stitch into my stitch of round 6, and I'm going to move on to round 7. Now round 7 to round 15, they're all the same, so all we're doing from round 7 to round 15 is 1 double crochet into every stitch around for a total of 24 stitches in each round. So that's my first one, my second one. So I'm just going to continue to work in a spiral, moving my stitch marker up every time I increase up a round, placing 1 double crochet into the top of each stitch, 24 stitches, and when I've completed round 15, I'll come back to you. So if you want to hit pause just while you make your way from round 7 to round 15, and I'll meet you back there. I've just finished round 15 and your bunny should be looking a little bit like this by now. So we've got 1 round left to do for the body of the bunny, and what we want to do in this round is we want to decrease from 24 to 18 stitches. So how we do that is we're going to place 1 double crochet into the first 2 stitches, and then the next 2 stitches we're going to place a decreasing double crochet. I'm going to do that round repeat a total of 6 times, and that'll take us down to 18 stitches. So into the first one I'm going to place 1 double crochet, into the second stitch along, 1 more double crochet, pop your stitch marker in just so you can keep track, and then we're going to do our decrease stitch. So what you want to do is insert your hook into the next stitch, yarn over and pull up a loop, and then instead of finishing off the stitch, go directly into the next stitch along, yarn over again and pull up a loop, so you've got 3 loops on your hook, yarn over and pull them all off. Then into your next stitch you're going to place a single double crochet, 1 into the next one, so your next stitch along is a decrease. So again we're going into the top of that stitch, yarning over, pulling up a loop, and then going into the next stitch, yarn over, pull up another loop, yarn over and pull through all 3 loops to decrease. So continue doing that row repeat until you get back to your stitch marker, and then we can finish the body of the bunny together. So if you want to hit pause. I've just completed round 16, so what I'm going to do is take out my stitch marker, and you should have finished on a decreasing stitch if you followed the round repeat correctly, and all we're going to do is slip stitch into the first stitch of the previous round, chain 1, and then leave yourself enough of a tail just to sew in. So you want about 3 or 4 inches. Trim the end. Pull up on that loop and then just pull it to tie the knot just to secure it. And there we've got the body of our bunny. So I'm just going to turn it inside out, and I'm just going to weave in my loose ends on the inside that nobody's going to see. So just thread your loose end onto a darning needle, and I'm just going to go up the back of these stitches, just catching the back loops only so it doesn't show through on the front of the bunny. Pull that through, and then I'm just going to go down back through the same stitches, just skipping that first loop there, and that secures that end. I just usually stop a couple before I get to the end, just so it doesn't show at the bottom. Pull it through, take off your needle, and then give it a little stretch so that you've not pulled it out of shape in any way, and then you can trim that. And then I'm just going to do the same with the loose end from the magic ring. So thread it through your darning needle, then you're going to go down in the back loops of the stitches only, so it's not showing through on the front. And then go back up through the same stitches, again missing out that first loop. So give it a little pull just so it's not changing the shape, and then you can trim that loose end. So what we need to do now is we need to make the 2 ears, so we can turn that the back the right way. So the way that we make our ears is you take your yarn again, and we're going to make another magic ring, and the same as the bunny head, around the magic ring we're going to place 6 double crochets, working in the round again, so your stitch marker is still going to be handy to have. So making sure I crochet around the magic ring and the loose end, I'm just going to do 6 double crochets. So 1, 2, use your stitch marker, place it into the top of your first stitch. This first stitch can be a little bit tight, so the stitch marker actually helps for when you get back round, so it keeps your stitch a little bit looser. 3, 4, 5 and 6. Pull on that loose end just to close your ring, and then what we want to do is we're doing and increase again the same as we did at the top of the bunny head. So we're going to increase from 6 to 12 double crochets. So into each stitch along for round 2 you place in 2 double crochets. So insert your hook, yarn over and pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through both loops, and then you're going back into the same stitch and placing a second double crochet, and you're going to do that in every stitch around for a total of 12 stitches. Okay, so if you hit pause, and I'll meet you back at the end of round 2. I've just finished round 2 and I've got my 12 double crochets. So rounds 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7 are all the same, continuing to work into the spiral. We're placing 1 double crochet in each stitch around. Each round is a total of 12 stitches. Again, your work's gonna start turning up, so you want to work with the right side popping out, it'll make it easier. So if you go ahead and complete rounds 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7, and I'll meet you back here when I've got mine done as well. I've just finished my round 7 and I'm going to do round 8, and what we want to do for round 8 is we want to decrease the number of stitches down from 12 to 10. So the way that we do that is into the first 4 stitches along we're placing 1 double crochet into each one. 1, 2, replace your stitch marker, 3 and 4, and then into the next stitch when we're going to make a decrease. So we're going to go into the next stitch, pull up a loop, and then go into the next stitch, pull up another loop, exactly how we did them for the bunny heads. So you've got the 3 loops on your hook, yarn over and take off all 3, and then we're going to do that once more. So we're going to do 1 double crochet into the next 4 stitches along. 1, 2, 3 and 4, and then you should have 2 stitches left just to make another decrease. Little bit fiddly the ears because they're so small. So place your decrease into your last 2 stitches, and that is round 8 completed. So for rounds 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 and 14, we're just going to be placing 1 double crochet into every stitch around for a total of 10 stitches. So continue to work in the round, moving your stitch marker up so you know the beginning. Keep a count of your stitches, so you want 10 stitches in the round for rounds 10, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 and 14. So I'll meet you when I've completed round 14. So if you want to hit pause. I have just finished my 14th round and we've got just 2 rounds left for the ear. So for round 15, what we're going to do is we're going to do 1 double crochet into the first 3 stitches and then make a decrease stitch, and we're going to do that twice, which will give us a total of 8 stitches. 1, 2, just replace your stitch marker so you keep track of where you're up to. 3, so then I'm going to make my decrease exactly the same as we've made our others. Insert your hook into your next stitch and pull up a loop, and then go directly into the next stitch and pull up another loop, and then yarn over and take off all 3 loops on your hook. And then we're going to do that once more for round 15. So 1 double crochet into the next 3 stitches, 1, 2 and 3, and then we've got 2 stitches left to work our final decrease. So insert your hook, pull up a loop, insert your hook, pull up another loop, and then yarn over and take off all 3 loops on your hook. So for our last round, what we need to do is go down from 8 stitches to 6 stitches. So in the first 2 stitches, we're going to place 1 double crochet, 1 and 2, and then we're going to make a decrease stitch. So insert your hook and pull up, and then into the next stitch along, insert your hook and pull up, yarn over and take off all 3 loops, and then we've got 1 double crochet into the, it gets very fiddly here, 1 double crochet into the next 2 stitches, 1 and 2, and then we've just got the 2 stitches left to do our final decrease. One and 2, yarn over and pull through all 3, and then what I do is I just slip stitch to the top of this next stitch. So insert my hook, pull through the yarn, just split my yarn a little bit, let me just go back, and pull it through again, chain 1, and you want to cut about 5 inches because we're going to need to sew these ears to the top of the bunny head, and then pull it up and pull firmly on that to secure the work. So I've already done both of my ears, so you're perhaps going to want to rewind it and make your second ear. So I'm just going to show you where I sew my bunny ears to. I try to keep where I've tied my knot, and you'll be able to see it better in real life, but here there's my knot where I finished the bunny. I try to keep that to the back, and I'm just going to sew my ears to the top of the head here. So I'm going to grab my first ear and my yarn needle and just thread that. There we go. And then what I'm going to do is just hold my ear roughly where I want it. So I want them right up at the top, and I'm going to stitch it on the, so I'm going through the top of the bunny body and through both sides of the ear. And I'm just going to do a whip stitch all the way along, making sure that I'm going through the bunny body and both top sides of the top of the bunny ear. And what I like to do is just go back and forth before I tie that off. Can get a little bit difficult, but you take your time and just make sure that you're catching the body of the bunny and the top of the ear. all the way across. Ooh, stab my thumb. Did it again. So that's my first bunny ear attached. So I'm going to pop this loose end onto the inside of my work, missing my fingers, and just pull that through for now. You've got quite a lot of yarn going on inside there now, so it gets a little bit difficult to get everything through, so just take your time. So there's my first ear attached. So I'm going to do exactly the same on the other side. So if you want to go ahead and do that and hit pause, and then we'll come back. I'll show you how I do my eyes and the little nose and smiley face. So I've attached both of my ears, and what I'm just going to do is turn the bunny inside out. I've threaded the loose ends of both of them through, and they're both sitting at the top of the bunny head here. So all I'm going to do is tie a double knot in them. And secure them on. And trim them. And then we're going to do the eyes. So if you grab your black embroidery thread. Oh, his ears are sticking up. So I'm going to pop them onto the front. So remember, I've got my knot here at the back, and that's going to be covered up with the pom-pom for his tail, or her tail. I don't know if it's a boy or a girl bunny. So I'm just going to show you how we do the French knot to form the eyes. So I've threaded my embroidery thread. Now I like doing it with a double strand. So what you want to do is I pop mine between rows 6 and row 7. So you count down your rows, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and there's 7. So I'm going to place one of my eyes here and one of them on the opposite. So just have a look at your bunny and work out where you want your eye. So you want to go from the inside of the bunny body and pop your needle through. And pull it up. Now you want to leave yourself enough thread to do this second eye with. So I've got about 5 or 6 inches here. And then what you want to do is you wrap your needle around the thread a couple of times at the base. 1, 2. And then you're going to go back in through the same hole, push that down, the wrapping around, and gently pull it through, holding secure the embroidery thread that you've wrapped around the needle, and just slowly pull it down, and then you'll see that it forms an eye. So I just pull it a little bit tighter. So there we go, there we've got our first eye. So then what you want to do is work along the same line. So I'm going to pop my second eye here, going in through the back of your work again. Pull it through. Make sure you don't pull it too tight that it changes the shape of the work. Make sure you're not making any knots either on the inside. Wrap it around twice again. 1, 2. And then back in through the same hole. Push those wraparounds down and hold them there with your thumb. And then push your needle back through the bunny and gently pull that through. And that will form your second eye. Just do that nice and slowly. so you get even sizes on your eyes. Then you can trim that. And all I do to secure them is I turn my bunny inside out again, and my loose ends here, I just tie them off in little knots. So you should have 2 loose ends from either side. I just take them to the middle and do a little double knot. Don't pull too tightly because you don't want to pull the eyes through. They can be a little bit delicate, these. So just enough to secure it. And then you can trim those ends out of the way. I would definitely keep everything sort of trimmed away because you don't want to get your different colours into knots and things like that. So that's the eyes secured. So now we're just going to do the little nose with the smiley face on. So I'm going to do mine in pink. So grab your needle, thread the colour that you're doing your nose with. Now I only use a single strand for this little bit, and I want to go one line underneath the eyes and pretty much in the middle, and I want to grab 3 stitches. So I'll put my needle in from at the back of the work, I'm going to go here, pull it through and just do a straight line across. And you just want to do that until you've got it to the thickness that you want. I usually do it 3 or 4 times. So this is going to be my last one. So I'm going to bring the needle out through the middle, where the middle of the nose is, and not go all the way through, because I'm going to do the little line that goes down now. And then just go down a couple of rows. One. And then what I do is I go down it again, but then I push my needle out through the side stitch here. So 1 row up and 1 stitch across. And then this gives us sort of a little smile. Back in through the middle and then back out at the other side, equal to the smiley face. Then I go back into that stitch there and just sew that down, and I'm quite happy with that there. So I'll just tie off my loose ends. So if you want to hit pause, tidy up all the insides of your work. So the last thing we've got left to do is we just attach the pom-pom for the bunny tail. So I've just gone 1, 2, 3 rows up into the middle and pull one of the ends that tied off my pom-pom through. And then take your second end, thread that onto your darning needle, and I just make sure that I go through this stitch which is next, the next stitch along, push it through, pull it down, and then you're just going to make sure that it's firmly attached and tie a double knot on the inside of the bunny, making sure you pull firmly on the knot. And then you can trim those ends. And the last thing that we've got to do to complete our bunny, pop our chocolate egg inside, and then we are done. So there you go. There is your Easter bunny with his little tail ready for your basket. So I've got a pink and a purple one. So I hope you've enjoyed this video, and the next one coming up is going to be our basket itself. So I'll see you very soon for that. Take care. Bye.